Hello everyone, Sorry here, and today we are gonna do power rankings. Power rankings is basically where I rank up 8 of the best decks for a serious ladder climb. This is mostly based on my own experience on the ladder. I obviously use a little bit of stats, but it's mostly on my experience, which decks I'm finding success with, and basically sharing them here. I did write an article on Runeterra CCG about the decks and all, so if you want to check more details, I'll put a link in the description, but I'm gonna go through every single deck here in the video and talk briefly about them and the reason why they're ranked up in the power rankings. First place, Misfortune Swain. It's not actually Seraphine Ezreal, which probably everyone would expect Seraphine Ezreal Noxus to be first, although it's the most played deck, but MF Swain beats it right now. The reason for that is MF Swain is a more aggressive version than the old TF Swain. This deck has been doing well on ladder. It has, I think, 58-57% win rate, and I played it on ladder and found success with it. MF Swain is the aggro version, which wants to close out the game as fast as possible. You have Legion Saboteur and you have Legion Rearguard as early units. And we have 3 Noxian Fervors, no more Death Hand, just Noxian Fervors, go face. The idea of going more aggressive is to beat Demacia decks, beat Pantheon decks, Pantheon Varus, Pantheon Vayne, and the game faster, and also beat Seraphine decks. You want to close out the game before they set up their Seraphine on the board and start doing the Seraphine Ezreal stuff, or the Seraphine Victor, Seraphine Karma, all the Seraphine stuff. So this is one of the best decks right now, and I ranked it first place. Runner-up is Seraphine Victor Karma Ionia. Obviously, it's gonna be a Seraphine deck. The Ionia one right now is doing really well, and I think it's the best Seraphine deck out there. The Ionia version beats the Noxus version, which is why it's really good, and it also has a good matchup into a lot of different decks on like popular matchups. I think the Ionia one is the hardest to pilot. So if you actually master the Ionia one and you can pilot it really well, I think you can gain more value out of it than the other Seraphine decks. If you're not good at piloting Seraphine Ionia, maybe you should stick with the Noxus one, which is still kind of a bit difficult to pilot, but I think it's easier than this. This is a more value-oriented deck that wants to take the game to late game, get Victor on the board, protect Victor, buff him up, and win the game from there. So that's pretty much Ionia right now. It's bad into Vayne Jax, so it does have a rough time against Vayne Jax, and it has a rough time against Rumble Vayne. Third place is Vayne Jax. Vayne Jax is doing well on ladder right now, has one of the highest win rates out of the all Vayne decks. The reason for that, it beats all Seraphine decks. That's why it's really doing well. It does well into all Seraphine decks, and at the same time it does well into aggro decks trying to beat Seraphine decks. So it's making it has a good matchup table on ranked ladder. I think it does bad into Pantheon decks like Pantheon Varus and Pantheon Vayne. Pantheon Vayne can get really buffy units on the board, hard to go through them. And Pantheon Varus has the Unforgiving Cold. So if you, for example, put out a Harpy on the board, Harpy, you swing with her, they play the Unforgiving Cold, you're kind of screwed from there. And then they set up their Pantheon, they set up their Varus, and just go face with big overall units, and it's kind of doomed. Fourth place, let's see fourth place. Fourth place is Vayne Z. Vayne Z is also one of the good Vayne decks right now. It has better stats than, I think it might have slightly better stats than Jax Vayne. I'm not sure, like overall. But it beats, it doesn't beat Seraphine Ezreal. So it does actually have a bad matchup into Seraphine Ezreal. I think it beats the Ionia version or has a better experience against it. It also beats Pantheon. It beats a lot of Vayne decks. It beats Rumble Vayne. I think it also beats Jax Vayne. I'm pretty sure I wrote it here. So 3 difficult matchups: Seraphine Ezreal, Swain Twisted Fate, Fiora Vayne. Fiora Vayne because Fiora picks off your unit, and if they give her a quick attack, it's very hard for you to win trades. Yeah, Pantheon Vayne is good for you. Jax Vayne, Rumble Vayne, Jax Vayne, and you're slightly unfavored into any Gen and Pirate aggro. So they're difficult matchups, but you can win them. Basically like 48% maybe. 47, 48%. Fifth place, Seraphine Ezreal Noxus. Of course, we're gonna have it on the power ranking. It's still one of the best decks out there. It's the most played right now. It only didn't make first place because, I mean, second place. I think I would still rank up Ionia more than the Noxus one. But it didn't make high ranking because a lot of the meta right now is trying to counter it, trying to shut it down. So you might not have the best matchup experience. However, Seraphine Ezreal is so good that it can still win unfavored matchups just from creating cards, from Fan Club, from Song Spinner, from Seraphine just turbo winning the board, from the value she generates. You could still win unfavored matchups. But yeah, it's fifth place right now just because a lot of the meta is trying to counter it. Yeah, that's pretty much it about Seraphine Ezreal. Sixth place, we have Renekton Sejuani Overwhelm deck, which we don't see a lot right now. This deck does struggle into Seraphine Ezreal. It doesn't do great into Seraphine Ezreal. And it doesn't do great into aggro decks. So if you're seeing those two archetypes a lot, aggro and Seraphine Ezreal, it's best to switch off. If you're not seeing them, you can beat Pantheon, you can beat Vayne, you can beat, I think the Seraphine Ionia and the Sai, you're also not too bad into them, you can beat them. So this deck kind of is well into other decks than the Seraphine and aggro. You do well into other decks. Also, a lot of people are now playing Nocturne Elise. You have to watch out. If you're seeing a lot of aggro, probably switch off of this deck. Renekton Sejuani wants to kind of end the game as fast as possible with the overwhelm win condition. You set up a big overwhelm unit, you slam maybe a Battle Fury or the new Curse of the Tome, and you kind of win from there. Seventh place, Leona Diana Asai. We don't see it at all, but it has a low play rate. That low play rate has like 56-57% win rate. So I took it on ladder and I gave it a shot, and I actually did well with it. I also made a video about it. I will post it tomorrow, I think. Leona Diana is good against aggro decks. So aggro decks trying to counter Seraphine, you can farm them basically. You have a lot of cheap units. You have Doom Beast, you have Unspeakable Horror, kind of to buy you time until you set up your board. Also, it's not bad into Vayne decks because of Leona and Diana, actually both of them. They can take value trades. Leona with her barrier is pretty difficult for Demacia. They have to commit a concerted strike or something like that, or play maybe a fish hook or single combat before you get your barrier just to kill her. It does, though, on stats, it doesn't do well to Seraphine Ezreal. Although when I was playing against them, I was kind of beating them. Also, this list is running 2 Dianas. You should run 3 Dianas. This list is wrong. I will fix it. I will fix it. Is this the list I played on? No, this is the wrong list. I shared the wrong list. I'll fix it before I post the article. I shared the wrong list because I played this deck on Europe server, and on Europe server I went 5 games. I played 5 games with it. Not a lot of data, but I played 5. I won all of them. Then I went on the America server to test it also, but I only had 2 Dianas on America, so I cut 1 Diana and I added Solari Shield Breaker or Shield Bearer, just because I didn't have a 3rd Diana. So I will fix it once the article comes out. But yeah, 3 Dianas, no Shield Bearer. I also switched some stuff, I think. Yeah, I think I had also 3 Sun Guardian, so you might want to run 3 Sun Guardian. And you could maybe cut out, the Hush is good. The Hush is good. You could keep the Hush. Maybe 2 Shield Guardians is good. Or you could cut to one of the Heavens aligned. But yeah, this is kind of the list. You get the idea of the list. It's good into aggro, it's good into Demacia, and it's okay into Seraphine. It's not that great, but it's okay. I felt like I could beat them if I set up a wide board and I slam the Winding Light on the board, give everything Overwhelm, and then I play Unto Dusk on the Winding Light. So now they have +4 damage and kind of try and close out the game from there. So now last place, but keep in mind, like, last place doesn't mean it's bad. Last place is still on the power ranking, so it's good. It's good for ladder, or good to try it at least. Akshan Sivir. Akshan Sivir, we don't see Akshan Sivir a lot right now, not really popular, so this might be a really hot take. But Akshan Sivir has always been on the low, and it shows up as a secret weapon, especially in tournaments. In seasons, it showed up a lot to try and counter specific decks. And Akshan Sivir right now does well into Ezreal Seraphine. So you could beat Ezreal Seraphine, you could beat other Seraphine decks. I think it also does well into Ionia, and it doesn't do bad into Demacia. It puts up a fight against Demacia. I think the only difficult matchup maybe is Varus Pantheon because of the freezes, but if they don't have the freeze, they are doomed pretty much. What else does it do? Well, aggro is actually not too bad for you, because you have a lot of early stuff. You have Treasure Seeker, you have Broadwing, you do have Akshan, you have Merciless Hunter, so you kind of can pick off stuff with the board and try to set up a lethal attack with the Absolver. But yeah, I'm out of breath. But yeah, that's pretty much the idea of the power rankings. That's the top 8 of my decks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.